Hola Mzansi, welcome to Tyres and Braaiers, the show about carring and charring, hot wheels and hot rods, poikies and petrol. I'm Nik Rabinowitz.
I'm Hezron Louw, and we're back. And like any sequel, we're bigger, better, meatier, tastier.
And musclier. And that's not just the motors and the food, but it's also the presenters. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. He's been working out. Hez, what have you been doing?
I've lost you in there.
You look amazing.
Thank you.
Guys, if you thought season 1 was crazy, the exotic locations we bring you in season 2, you won't believe. We've gone international.
We're in the Far East. Amazing sounds, amazing smells, amazing tastes.
That's right. The locals even speak to you in this exotic, melodious language of their own.
Afrikaans.
What?
Yes, we're in Germiston.
Oh, you mean the Far East Rand?
Yes, and we're here to meet Piet.
And it's 1949 Mercury, and he'll be taking us to a bird sanctuary and an airline museum as well as a braai.
Yes, an authentic Argentinian asado.
That's amazing. You know, his Spanish cars, in fact, bakkies, are most popular on the East Rand. The Wantana, have you heard of it?
No.
Wantanamera.
Hadido Wantana.
Ahira Wantanamera. Ahira Wantanamera.
My name is Pieter Ploy. I'm what I call a petrol head. I think there's petrol running through my veins. My passion is restoring and building old cars, but mostly what I call street rods, which is a modified version of an old car with every new mechanicals in it, new suspension, brakes, engine. And a street rod to me you can use. You can get into it, you can drive down to Cape Town, wherever. It doesn't stand in your garage, you just leak oil. It leaks oil, but I mean, it doesn't just leak oil. You can use it. I love old regional cars, but my passion is to go one beyond. Why must you make the same mistakes they did in 1949? I mean, they never had good brakes, they never had good tires, anything. We made it safer, disc brakes all around, better tires. So I think it's just a better car than it used to be in 1949.
I think this is it, yeah.
Yeah, this is it. Deep in the heart of Germiston.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay.
This is how we do it in the hood when you get to somebody's gate, you can't see in. Piet! Germiston is a very nice place.
Germiston colonized in 1887 by a German and a Scot. German, Scottish, Germish ton of gold. They made a fortune.
It's far from Joburg. I think you need a passport to come to Germiston. I don't know how me and Nik got across the border.
Amazing people have come out of Germiston. You have political activist Helen Suzman, scientist Dr. Sidney Brenner, who won the Nobel Prize 2002.
The people here look friendly.
Of course, the Big Easy, Ernie Els from Germiston. He got his nickname here because he used to, with ease, he could drive a ball from Germiston to Boksburg.
Just stick your head in there, man. Check what's going on.
Hello.
How's it, guys? Hey,
hello there.
Morning, morning. Morning.
Hello.
Morning.
Peter.
Peter.
Nik.
Peter.
Hezron, Peter.
Yes, sir. Pleased
How's
to meet
it,
you
man?
guys.
Nice
Come in, come.
meeting you.
Thank you, thank you. We met Piet du Plooy and his beautiful 1949 Ford Mercury. What an amazing car.
I think we just go for a ride.
Yeah.
Can you take us for a ride in this
we
puppy,
can
man?
go for a ride.
Lekker.
But,
Yeah.
but before we go, I want to show you guys something else.
Oh,
Okay.
there's more. The plot thickens.
Now, let me show you what we got inside here.
Wowza.
This is a 1957 Chevy.
Can I get in?
Yeah, sure.
How do
This
I
one
get in?
actually got handles.
Oh, yeah, this one does.
You know, you look like Susan Sarandon in that movie where they drive over the cliff. Have you ever tried that?
Not the cliff.
No.
No. The rest
No.
we tried. You know,
Chapman's Peak. You just
standing
go.
like, no.
Peter, this feels like a scene from a horror movie. Where do you keep the bodies?
It's a couple outside. This is a 1939 Chevy Coupe,
Yeah.
which has also been turned into a street rod. It's got jag diff, jag front. It's going to have a Chevy V8 in it. This is a car that we're busy building for somebody else, and that one there. But this one's going to be a street rod. That one we're turning into an original car. That's a 1939 DeSoto Coupe. Peter de Plooy, fantastic individual, driven. You know, just going into his house, seeing everything he's got there, everything is put together, what he's built.
How much work do you put into these cars?
I think this is a labor of love. It's not work. You know, it comes down to People say, yeah, it's a lot of work. It's not work, it's fun. I like doing it. For me, it's relaxation.
How does your family feel about you being into cars so
Well, I
hectically?
got my missus, I tell us, well, either I sit in a bar
Yeah.
or sit in the garage. Choice is yours. You know? So,
Or you could make a bar in the garage.
I like that.
never thought of that. Come on, guys. Let me show you the rest of my collection of cars.
One of the nicest things he said today was he would rather be at home working on his hobbies than sit in a pub and drinking. What do you really have to show for sitting in a pub and drinking?
Beautiful vehicle, flames all over the bonnet, it's blazing. It's blazing. And I think that's why he's got a fire extinguisher in the back seat.
He's obviously done a lot of modification to the car. He's trimmed the roof down. He's taken all the beadings off, covered the holes. The back seat is like massive. He's done a very good job on it. It's something interesting. It's a V8. When he starts it, you hear that rumble, that you know, it's got electric windows, power steering, gold dials. It feels really good. It feels authentic.
This I imported from America. I brought this in from the States. But as you can see, it's miles per hour.
What's the top speed in kilometers for me? I can't work out how do you work the miles?
Double it and subtract a fifth.
I can't do that.
100 miles is 160 kilometers. Okay, and I had a pause there about all 120, which is about 180 kilometers.
What can I say about this amazing man who has devoted 17 years of his life to a car? He's brought this car up with his sons. It's like a stepchild.
I imagine committing 17 years to a car, never mind a wife and kids and all of that, to a car, you know? The dedication, the drive. Didn't you ever feel like you walk into the garage and you think this pile of something?
This is a nice thing about this now, building this type of thing. When you do walk in, you think, yeah, I'm not full for this thing. You close the door, you go back now. You don't have to, like I said, it's not a thing that you have to go to work on Monday. It's got to be finished. If you're full, close the gate, the garage door, go sit and watch TV or whatever.
Have you in the car renewed your vows?
Pete brought us to Runabout Bird Park. Walked around, checked out some birds. I saw a peacock. I know nothing about birds. Okay, Patko's today is inspired by the Mercury, 1949. I thought to myself, let's do diner-style food. Cut the paper, made it feel like we were in a diner. So I made a burger, 500 grams of mince. I put in some paprika, salt, parsley, some breadcrumbs, and then just to top it off, I got some white eggs. You know the Americans use white eggs. So for the culture, we got some white eggs in there. Mix that all up, and then you shape your patty, put it in a pan to fry, 8 minutes in the pan to fry. And then you assemble your burger. You take a burger bun, try to get a nice crispy burger bun. Cut the burger bun in half, put some tomato sauce at the bottom to keep it moist. Then I put some lettuce. I'm not a big fan of tomato, so I didn't put tomato. Put the patty on, put some onion on, oh yeah. And chop some avocado, made a little fan, put it on top. Put some parsley just over the top just to make it look really pretty. And a little more tomato sauce on the top of the bun. Then I took some chips, put some chips in a packet, and boom, you've got a delicious 1950s look-alike burger. And then I did a float for the boys just to round it off, you know? Gotta show some class, some cream soda, put some vanilla ice cream on the top. This whole meal is already over the top, so I didn't add any syrup or anything like that. Popped in a straw, delivered to the guys. They looked really hungry.
Pete, we were hoping, I think your car works well for the drive-in. We were hoping to do that, but the last drive-in in Germiston closed
1920.
1920.
Not sure.
You saw the last movie there.
Yeah, I saw
So the next best thing we could do was diner food. Look at this. Look at what Hez is bringing here.
Wow.
You've never experienced patkos on this show,
Patkos like
but
that.
this
Yeah,
is
yeah.
it. Hez,
I tell you what.
look at this.
This is great.
He's
eh?
got
You guys wanna take the floats with?
1950s style everything here.
Yeah, it's even like when we went down in the roadhouses in the old days.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, thanks.
To the Mercury.
Thank you, Hez.
Pleasure.
I see one thing I can say about you is the burger you made is a big fat burger Like the Mercury, you got a big fat fender. So this is a big fat burger. It fits into the Mercury. So we're talking.
Hey!
He looks really hungry. Must say, Pete, stuff out here in Germiston. That's why he chowed that thing. Next up, SAA Aircraft Museum. This is cool, eh, Nik? Actual seats and stuff. Hey, Yoppie. How are you doing?
Good
Hezron.
afternoon.
Hi.
I'm Yoppie.
I'm Nik.
Welcome
Hello,
to
Yoppie.
the South African Airways Museum.
Thank you.
I'd love to show you around and show you a few of the interesting things we have on display. These are two Boeing 727s. And not many people may recall that a Boeing 727 was actually hijacked on the 24th of May 1972. And I happened to be one of the crew members on board of this
Oh,
aircraft.
you were on board?
We spent 30 hours battling it out with these guys, and fortunately I'm here today to tell the story.
Did you ever find that you misunderstood the control tower? That the communication wasn't entirely clear?
Whatever
But like,
this
what
wa-
if it's like a foreign plane, Yoppie, like an Australian plane is flying into our Tambo, and then the pilot is like, "Oh, Tambo, come in, this is Qantas 359, and then the guy in the air traffic controller is like, "Hello, Qantas, sharp, you can have a 10 now," and then the guy's like, "Must I do a sharp turn now?" Negative, Qantas, just land the plane. We must land now. I think this is probably the best museum exhibit I've been to since the one I went to, which was about the 10 Jewish Springboks.
Good. And guys, over here is maybe not such a happy section of the museum. This is what we call our Helderberg Memorial section. You may recall that a Boeing 747 fell into the sea in 1987, and that was near Mauritius after it caught fire. And what we do know is that a fire started in the cargo section. This was rather a unique type of a 747 that could carry cargo as well as passengers in the upper deck.
It sort of shows that SAA is, really cool, that we've only ever had like one fatal crash in recent history.
Good. Guys, this is our pride and joy here. This is a Boeing 747, the Lebombo. And this was the very first lady that arrived of the 747 range.
This is the original plane that flew over the stadium in 1995.
That's right. Captain Laurie Kay piloted this one when former President Nelson Mandela was sitting in the stadium.
Wow.
And this one was also used in film shoots for the movie Invictus then subsequently.
Do you know that Invictus got 2 Oscar nominations in the same year that District 9 got 4? Because the Academy prefers South Africans playing aliens to aliens playing South Africans.
I love that.
Let's take a look inside.
Welcome on board.
Thank you very much. Those curves, those delicious, beautiful curves. And of course, the Lebombo launched in 1971. Thousands of people came to the airport.
Let me show you what happens in the sharp end of the aircraft.
I'm actually used to going in the other direction. This is very odd for me, walking in this direction.
I take it you fly economy class quite often, do you?
All the time.
Okay,
All
well,
the time.
welcome to the first class section of this Boeing 747.
And it's pretty dusty up there. You don't want to be flying this Lebombo if you have any hay fever issues.
Just to be clear, what is the difference between first class and business class?
The level of service, the level of comfort, etc. As you can see on this side, the seats are very, very far apart. In those days, this was quite a novel idea. They could fold completely down, the footrest came up, and it made a proper bed where you could lie down flat.
I mean, what a waste of space, but you could fit like 60 other people in that space.
People often say they fly first class because they can arrive at their destination before everybody else at the back.
First, they get there first.
That's it.
First
Yes.
class.
But those 4 passengers sitting right up front, they get to arrive at their destination even before the pilots do. because the cockpit is right above us. And more or less right over here is where the captain sits, with the first officer that side, and the flight engineer more or less over there.
That was an amazing experience. Now we're going to go braai. We're going to go do the asado with some folks in Houghton.
And there was a change of scenery, went from the Germiston Massif, like west side, east side, far east side, and then we were like...
Oh, the braai team, what an eclectic mix of individuals. These 4 guys braaiing together, friends. I think that's what South Africa is about, friendships. There was a good mix of people.
If you join us, we'll show you an Argentinian, or it's a Latin type of way of braaiing meat. It's lamb al asador, as well as a big rack of beef al asador. So
I love this. Let's go, guys. Let's go braai, guys.
now that Clint has gotten over the car, give him something else to fantasize about.
Wow, guys.
We got it spread out.
So this is an asado.
It's an asado, yes.
This is what an asado looks like.
Well, this is if you want to be technical, it's lamb al asador, which al asador is the way of preparing it.
And the guy
But
who prepares it? What's he
asador.
called? Is he the asador?
He's the asador, yeah. What it specifically refers to is the method of making the animal, and it's cooked over a crust.
We'd like to meet your women as well. I mean, this is nice. This is great.
Hey, ladies, how's it, ladies, hey. What a stunning house. It looks like it was built in 1920.
It's this kind of colonial setting, but it's been decolonized. These guys, they know what they're up to. There's Clint, James, Anaz, Andrew, and these guys are like steeped in the Argentinian braaiing technique.
Tell us a bit about your setup here, guys. I won't lie. We've seen many braais. This is probably one of the most impressive.
So many countries in the world try to, lay claim to having the best braais in the world, and I think that South Africans are definitely amongst them, but Argentinians definitely must be counted. So where we use the word braai in Argentina, you say asado.
Look at the technique of slapping the...
The parsley on the lamb.
Yeah, beautiful. They've researched this, they've been to the archives.
Yep, the lamb is definitely from the Karoo. It's been brined, so we brine this lamb for 24 hours. With the beef, not forgetting the beef, of course. So we got a rib cage with rump on it. We started the fire about 12 o'clock. It's all slow and low, like the car we came with today. Or you came with today.
V8 power.
It's been, we had a little bit of more of a brine, what we made today with the parsley will be slapped on the meat.
So the brine is called, in Spanish, it's called salmuera.
Salmuera. The technique takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of wood, it takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of commitment.
Unusual braaiing technique, of course, the vertical braaiing position of the lamb. It looked like a Pilates exercise that I was just doing last week, where you really open the chest, and then feel the warmth, and then and then cook yourself to your medium rare.
So if you want to try, let me cut a slither.
Yeah.
As we call it in my culture.
What culture is that?
Westernization.
Brainston.
Okay, so this is a piece of lamb, eh? Nik, I'll share with Nik, it's fine.
You sure?
No. I'm
He
quite
wants
happy
his
to
own
have
piece.
one.
He wants him to give him man.
Oh my gosh.
Give his man his own piece.
nice.
Extra piece here.
Look, wait.
Wow.
It's actually good, eh?
Oh my word, this thing is juicy. It's tender.
All
Yeah.
that slapping, baby. All that slapping.
That is
Oh my
good.
word.
You should try that.
Oh my word, guys. Okay, this is amazing, guys. When do we get to chow?
We'll get off the fire, carve it up, and then eat to your heart's content. But
Beautiful.
I think you guys have had enough. I think you're done.
Just add
We're gonna
portions.
keep it for
Give him
everybody
more.
else, though, right? Isn't that how it goes?
I love these guys.
Irresistible. Take more, baby.
But in the meantime, I'll make you guys a drink.
Oh, super.
I'll make you guys a fantastic drink.
Fantastic.
Nick, you up for a drink? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I've got a surprise for you guys. Since you guys have themed it Argentinian, I've themed the drink after Argentina.
Speaking of drinks, that's mine.
There you go.
Peter had to leave early because his girlfriend was waiting for him in the tool shed.
Bye, Ranke. I heard you leaving.
Yeah, really, I appreciate it. Have a
Thank
nice
you.
day.
Thank you.
Hope to see you soon.
Lekker.
Cheers, Pit. Today I made for the guys an Argentina blue cocktail, which, as you can see, I've drank half of. It's basically 4 lemons squeezed into a jar, half a bottle of vodka, half a bottle of Bulu Curacao, a lot of bitter lemon, some ice, some lemon, and some blueberries. Boom. Serve in a glass, garnish with lemon, blueberries, and if you can, a blue straw. People love this sort of thing. Asado style of braaiing, yeah. It's a lot of work, number one. They take the animal, they pitch it on the pole, light a fire, and they cook it for 6-7 hours.
Ladies, are you ready for the cocktails?
Ready?
Hezron, bring on the cocktails.
Thank you.
There you go.
So much. Are we allowed to sip it now? Just
He didn't just siphon these out of the pool. They are actually quite delicious. I've been chatting to
The ladies.
The ladies, and Candice over here is a vegan. Candice, as a vegan, how do you feel about them? The cocktails.
The cocktails are amazing.
So I reckon I do something in the national colors of Argentina, which are blue and white. So a blue and white cocktail.
Right.
Yeah.
Hoppa!
Okay, guys, it's time to go chow. Apparently the boys have cooked up a storm for you.
And
pretty ladies.
Candice, apparently the salads are
amazing.
great, and there's also
I
some vegan cashew nut cheese.
Excellent.
These guys just didn't do asado. They did a flatbread. They did a number of salads. They did lamb. They did the beef rib. Wow, guys, what an amazing spread.
I just wanted to say thank you so much to our hosts, to our braaiers, to our asadores. If we feel part of the family, we say anaya nose. And anaz, that means another nose. And you have a beautiful nose.
Yeah, it's not the first time I've heard that. That's been said before.
And we would like to present you one of the 4 of you, which is going to be awkward.
You can give it to Anderson. Anderson will take it.
You can share on a weekly basis.
Thank
On behalf of Tyres and Braaiers, in the spirit of today's episode, which was shot at the Airways, South African Airways Museum, this is a black box. It is not a 6-pack, but a papsak. And we thank you so much for braaiing with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much. Thank you.
You guys are awesome.
Gracias.
You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome.
Very good.
Can I slice something?
Yes,
now?
slice
Can
and
I slice
dice.
something down? The food today was amazing. The effort put in was amazing. It was a beautiful braai, beautiful put together.
And it was all that. I have to tell you guys, the lamb just melted in my... Okay, it was a piece of fat, but it just was delicious.
Today was a beautiful day. I missed Nik a lot. I missed this whole thing, meeting new people. Thanks, South Africa. You guys just keep braaiing, and we'll keep coming.
Well, really, such a diversity of people here. We had at this braai meat eaters and vegans, as well as vegetarians. And I feel like that's really nation building. That's people coming together. That's social cohesion for you. And I think like that's the beauty of this country. We can all come together with different approaches to meat and braai together. Maybe not eat that meat, but at least drink a cocktail. And I'd like to say, gracias, gracias, una cerveza de Zaragoza, por favor.